This young lady is Maureen Quirk Friel, née Quirk. She is my mother, and we are getting ready to take her to Ireland in April of 2017 to explore her family's heritage in Ireland. And so this video is tracing her last name, Quirk, and where it comes from in Ireland in preparation for that trip. So Maureen Quirk and her siblings' parents are Carl Quirk and his wife, Dorothy Quinn. We're focusing on Carl for this video. So Carl Quirk's parents were John Quirk, and we're going to focus on him. We'll explore the mother in another video. But John Quirk was his father. He was also born in Massachusetts. And then his father was this gentleman, Michael Quirk, and the mother, Margaret Connors. And these folks, which are essentially my mother's second great grandparents, were the immigrant ancestors that brought the Quirk name over from Ireland to Massachusetts. And so my research to figure out where in Ireland they came from focused obviously on these two. And the only clue that we had when I first started this project a few years ago was a family legend that the family was from County Cork. Now, that is not true, and there is no evidence of it. In fact, there's overwhelming evidence that that's not true, that the place that I'm going to show you is where they're from. I think maybe it's just because Cork and Quirk sound similar that the legend happened. But really, the first big clue, the one that was really more true, came from a distant cousin, because these folks have a lot of descendants throughout primarily New England, New York, New Jersey. But a distant cousin told me that his family was told that these Quirks came from Ballytarsna Crossroads in County Wexford. Now, I searched for that on Google Maps, and a bunch of different locations came up. It wasn't really clear. You know, County Wexford was a great original clue, so that certainly helped. But really, the first kind of smoking gun that we had to narrow things down was this document, which is Michael Quirk's naturalization papers from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And on this page, he says that he writes, or someone writes for him, that he is from what looks like Orrit in County Wexford. Now, there's no place that's spelled like this, but the closest thing that is spelled like it is Ulert in County Wexford. And let me show you where that is on the map. So it's a little town or village, really, about 130 kilometers south of Dublin in Wexford, sort of in the north central section of County Wexford. There's also a significant memorial to a 1798 Irish rebellion that occurred there. Whether our family is tied into that history, I'm not really sure. But this was my best clue of where I thought the family was from. Then we had a real breakthrough in searching more about Michael Quirk and Margaret Connors' origins by looking at their first four children. So they had a lot of children. I don't know how many this is, like 10 or 11. But the first four were actually born in Ireland. This bears out in the census records. So we see that throughout the census records that these children appear in Massachusetts, it shows that their place of birth is in Ireland. And then, fortunately for us, the Irish records are available for each of these children in terms of their civil birth. And in the civil parish registers for the District Court of Ulert in the Union of Enniscorthy, County Wexford, we have actual proof in the form of the civil parish record line item that shows that these children were born in the District of Ulert, and each one of the records lists Ballytarsna as the birthplace. Now, I don't really know exactly where that is, but when I do try to map Ballytarsna Crossroads, it comes up in an area very close to Ulert. So when we go to Wexford in April with my mom, we're going to go exploring a little bit and see if we can get some locals to give us some information about, what is really considered Ballytarsna Crossroads. But that is really how we know that the Quirks are from Ulert. And we will provide more info and any insights that we get, and maybe some videos once we get back.